Welcome back to the Strata Automation Technical channel. In this video, I'm going to be demonstrating all of the functionality of our OpenStat here. Here I have an OpenStat with Wi-Fi on board. The setup is fairly similar whether or not you have Wi-Fi, but with our new firmwares, RTU and FCU applications are combined into one firmware. So when you first unbox it and power it up, you'll be greeted with this screen here to select an application for either RTU or FCU. If you want to see the different applications and what that actually looks like as far as sequence, we have that outlined in our documentation, which we can take a look at later in this video. But first selection I have to make is whether I want RTU or FCU, which will determine which backnet objects and which sequences I get, as well as some of the menus might look a little different. So for this video, I can cycle through either FCU or RTU. I'm going to choose RTU for this one. Once I've selected or highlighted whichever one I want here, I'll click the check button here. Next thing I'll have to choose is whether I want Celsius or Fahrenheit. I'll go Fahrenheit since I'm in the United States. And then we'll wait for it to boot up here. Okay, so after a few seconds, it'll have finished its boot sequence. I'll be greeted with a temperature here, time up here as my mode on the top left, bottom left is my fan, and then I've got set point adjust here for raising the set point or lowering the set point. So if I want to raise the set point or lower the set point, I click one of the two set point adjust buttons, and then I can adjust in 0.1 degree increments up or down. And then if I want to save that, I'll hit the check. If I don't want to save my changes, I'll hit the top left button, which is the X, and it'll take me back to the main screen here. On the bottom, you'll see two different indicators. Again, here on the left-hand side, this indicates that the zone is occupied. There'll be a little slash through it if the zone is unoccupied, and then I've got the Wi-Fi symbol here showing that it's either connected or trying to connect to a Wi-Fi network. Top left here, I've got my mode. So if I want to cycle through my different modes, I can use the two left-hand buttons here. So we'll put this in automatic mode just to show something different here. And then for the fan, I can either put it in on or automatic by clicking this bottom left button. I just have to make sure to click the check mark to save it. So that's as far as the main display goes. The one icon that won't be displayed here that you might see is a little wrench icon down here at the bottom. That indicates the unit is in service mode, meaning it needs attention from a technician, say the fan status didn't improve or something similar. So now we're going to put the stat into configuration mode here. So to do that, I held the two left buttons here for a few seconds until it asked me for a pin. And then the pin I entered was top left, top right. So to do that again, hold the two left buttons until it asks me to enter a pin. I do top left, top right. And that puts me into config mode here. So my different options are MSTP config, quick setup, Wi-Fi settings. Again, if I have a Wi-Fi device. If I don't, there's no need to mess with those. Lock type, display, and about. So starting with the MSTP config here, this is what I should do right off the bat. Hitting this bottom left button to cycle through. First thing I want to do is set up an address, which will allow me to put it on my backnet network and pull it in to my front end. So we'll set this just as address 1. You can set the instance here as well beforehand. Otherwise, you can just do that through your front end as well by using this to raise or lower the number. Using the top left button or bottom left button, the top left button to cycle through the different numbers here to get it set however you'd like. Then I can hit the bottom left button to go to the next page. I can set the baud rate up or down. Change the max master, again going up or down, and then change the max frames either up or down. Last thing I got to do here is either confirm it or delete all my changes. So we'll save those changes and wait for the stat to reboot here. Okay, now that we're back in, we'll go back into that config page again, holding the left two buttons, then top left, top right. Next is the quick setup, which allows us to select an application preset. Again, this is outlined in our documentation, but using the two right buttons, I can cycle through the different options here. If I want to choose an application preset, then I can choose which thermistor type I'm using for a remote sensor, whether type 2 or type 3. I can calibrate the room temperature up or down to account for any discrepancies if I'm using something like a fluke meter to actually calibrate this guy. And then I can choose my display temperature unit. So if I want to convert these between Fahrenheit or Celsius, I can also do that after the fact. I don't have to reset this device to do that. Once I get through all my options, it'll ask me if I want to hit save. I'll hit yes to save that. Moving on to the Wi-Fi settings, I can enable or disable access point and station mode from here. So access point on these Wi-Fi stats will either enable or disable the stat itself, putting out an SSID to allow you to connect to and configure it. And then station mode would allow you to connect to a Wi-Fi network on site to pull it in over Wi-Fi to a front end through an access point. So you either can enable or disable either of these. You can't edit the settings, but you can enable or disable the feature. Moving on to the lock type. We have 5 different lock types that you can set through the stat here. We've got a set point lock, a temperature lock, a mode lock, a fan lock, and then a setup menu lock, which would lock out this menu from the stat. So then somebody can't log in. If they know the PIN, they can't even get in to change it. You have to change it from the front end after the fact. So just to kind of secure the stat a little bit more. Next, we have the display settings here. Again, you can change the display setting from metric to imperial. You can change the display brightness. You can change the background color. You can change the display language. Currently, we only have English, but at some point we'll likely have more languages. And you can edit the clock, whether you want to display it or not. And last but not least, we have the information here. This just gives you information about the device, like the name, the firmware version you're running, the MAC address. If this is a Wi-Fi device, it's got the information there, as well as the MSTP information and IP address of this device down there as well. So I can just click the X to get out of all those once I'm done. So that's the general interface here. Some other things you might want to know how to do are the different types of resets. So the first one we'll do is just a general config reset. If for whatever reason you set one of these up and you want to wipe out the config and reset it, just the configuration to factory default without wiping out any of your network settings. First thing you'll need to do is reboot the device. And while it's rebooting, you'll need to hold the bottom 2 buttons like so. You'll see that config reset show up on the screen with the different colored circle. You'll hold that until you see it change to initialization. So now I can release and we'll wait for this guy to finish booting. It may take slightly longer than a normal boot up would because we are clearing that config. So it's got to go through and wipe out any configuration settings that were in there before. And you'll see now it reset our mode to off instead of having it on automatic before. And if we were to look at the backend objects, we would see this is reset to the default of rooftop 2-stage heat cool. The other option we have for a reset is to do a full factory reset. So again, we'll have to power the device off. And we'll hold the 2 right-hand buttons and the bottom left button to do a factory reset. Again, we'll wait for the circle to finish before we release the buttons. Now that we see that initialization screen, we can release and wait for it to finish the boot process, which will then be greeted with that same screen that we saw at the start. So those are all the different menus for the OpenStat. Next, I'll hop over to the documentation and give you a look at that. So now that we've seen what the interface looks like, how to set it up through the stat itself, we can take a look at the documentation here. So this is going to be your best resource for as far as sequence of operation, wiring, the different presets, as well as all the BACnet objects. So a table of contents here, again, we've kind of got it split into rooftop unit stuff and fan coil unit stuff. But as far as the presets go, you know, we've got wiring information here for all your transformers and everything. We've got different I/O configurations for those presets I spoke about. And then for each of those presets, we've got full wiring diagrams, as well as some sequence of operation information specific to that specific preset. If I keep going here, again, you'll see all the different presets we have. Then down here, we've got control curves for those different presets for different equipment configurations for heating, cooling. You've got modulating and on-off control, economization, as well as more information about all of the different things that I showed you in the live demonstration there for turning the access point mode on and off, all the different information. So again, this is your greatest resource when it comes to understanding how these controllers work, as well as how to set them up. But that's going to be all for this video. Thank you for watching and have a great day.